Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Brian here from Massey's Main Entertainment. I know we had a nice little break here. We wanted to do some things with our families and friends during the holiday stuff. So we want to take a semi break here and only kind of touch base with you guys once every couple of weeks with interesting things to do. I'm joined as always by my buddy Rich Strickler. Say hi.
What's up, guys?
And my buddy Doc down below. Say hi to Doc.
Hello, everyone.
Doc doesn't celebrate our Thanksgiving necessarily, but he's probably still chowed down on some good food.
Always.
But anyway, what we decided to do was, we really got just kind of an amalgam of things that we were discussing about doing. But one of the things that we thought would be really interesting to do would be to build an album of perfect soundtrack songs, songs that we feel like that were made for the movie, or in some ways became totally so associated with that movie that would be almost impossible to separate the two, because we know that some songs pre-existed and then a director or somebody decides to use them in a movie, and so we want to know whether that qualified. And I think as long as it has some type of really strong attachment that this can't be broken from the movie, I think that qualifies as well. So what do you guys think about this little project? I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. We're both, all three of us rather, are movie fans as well as music fans. So nice tie-in together. A lot of times you'll see these wonderful songs pop in a movie, and it ties into it well. It accents what's going on with the lead characters in the movie and the theme of the movie, and that's what a soundtrack's all about. So 12 songs was tough to do because there's literally hundreds that we all like and love. So it was fun. I don't have any particular order that I put them in as far as where the flow is going to be. I just picked out 12 songs I liked from 12 movies I liked, and left it at that.
There you go, Doc.
Bang on, Rich. Lots to choose from. Personal taste throughout, and I tried to give a little bit of. I actually did try to spread it out a little. So I got some that are right in my wheelhouse, some that are outside, and some I think I just associate with the movie so well that they're perfect for the movie, and they make my list for that reason. Maybe not the best song, but right. Just an iconic song that might just match with the movie really good.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I put stuff in here that I thought was very obvious, but then I put other stuff in here I thought was like very personal to me. Whether I thought that, man, that song, every time I hear that song, it just bang on to that particular movie, and I wanted to include those as well. So be sure, check out other stuff on our channel. We did a whole run of building the perfect album series from 1965 all the way through to 1999. We also had subsequent videos that were top 10 movies for each year, going from 1980 to 1999 over on Rich's channel. So be sure to check those out if you get an opportunity. So tonight's order, it's going to be Rich is going to go first, and he'll give us his first side, and then we'll talk about it and give the second side, and Doc, you'll go second. So let's get started.
All right. Very strange. I guess it's because of my age and that type of thing. But I had my first four songs were from the 1960s. Very interesting that I jumped out with those 50-plus-year-old songs. But anyway, I'm going to kick it off with "Born to Be Wild" by Steppenwolf from Easy Rider. I just think it kicks that movie off. The whole biker theme. Get your motor running, head out on the highway. It fits the theme of Easy Rider. I think Dennis Hopper, the director, picked a great song to kick that movie off with, and it's one that I watch every once in a while. It comes back, the whole hippie movement and stuff, and that song defines what that movie's about. So I'm going to lead off with that track. My number two side here song on side one is from Midnight Cowboy, "Everybody's Talking" by Harry Nilsson. Again, this is a John Voight character and Dustin Hoffman. These two sort of nobodies who cross paths in New York. One's from Texas. The other guy is a homeless victim in the Big Apple. And there's another thematic song written by Fred Neil, I believe, and Harry Nilsson. Great vocal. And it's got a little yodel to it. Great tune. Was a hit in 1969, top 10 hit, I believe. Number three is Simon and Garfunkel, "Mrs. Robinson" from The Graduate. Again, this is wasn't written specifically for the movie, It was not qualifying for an Oscar because of that, but still, it was on the album, same time, and the lead character is Mrs. Robinson, played by Anne Bancroft, and Simon and Garfunkel, of course, were huge folk pop singers at that time, and their soundtrack fills that movie. There's at least a half a dozen songs throughout that movie, and it gives it a little period piece kind of feel to it. So that's my third track. My number fourth, probably my most obscure of the 12 today, and that's from the movie To Sir With Love, the title track, sung by Lulu, who was a British actress slash singer. She was in the movie, cast as one of the students, these troubled, delinquent type students that Sidney Poitier has to mold and get ready for the real world. And she sings this. They give him a hard time as the teacher. He's a black teacher in London, and they're giving him all kinds of stuff. He has to earn the respect, and he does at the end. And then when he's ready to leave, she comes out and sings this song To Sir With Love. Really effective, and I enjoy the movie, and I enjoy that performance where she sings it to him. Next is a later track. This is from the movie Philadelphia, Streets of Philadelphia, by Bruce Springsteen, having to do with the AIDS epidemic. And Tom Hanks, of course, goes to Denzel, who's a lawyer, needs somebody to fight for his rights. And Springsteen lays a beautiful track down. I just think there's some heartfelt sentiments in the song, and great tune from the 1993 film Philadelphia, shot in Philadelphia, obviously. And to end side one here, I've got Shaft, the theme from Shaft by Isaac Hayes. This is a cool song, man.
Yeah.
When this movie comes on, this is one of those black exploitation films of 1971. He's a detective, and all the cool lines. Who is the man who would risk his life for a brother man? Shaft. Can you dig it? And that music is on. It's really inspiring, and it's cool. Isaac Hayes, I think he won the Oscar for that song for that year as far as best individual song, best song written for a movie. So that'll end my side one.
Nice. I think they're good selections, and right in your wheelhouse of the, especially a lot of those movies you're really big on.
Yeah.
If you had to choose God's honest truth between Shaft and Superfly, though, which one do you think you would go with?
I'm going with Shaft. I like the Curtis Mayfield song too, though.
I'm just saying. I'm just
They're
messing
both great.
I just wanted to hear it. Yeah.
But I like Shaft. I just like that. There's a whole build up to it with the orchestra.
Yeah.
And then, there's the cool lines in between. John Shaft, can you dig it? All that kind of
dig it.
That lingo from the 70s, that cool talk. It's all in that song.
Yeah, it's nice.
So I just enjoy that. He's got the coat on. He's dealing with pimps and hookers and stuff. And it's just so 70s.
He's got the complete 70s look going on in that.
Oh my God!
Totally.
Awesome. Even though it's not the greatest movie, it is a cool
That's
song.
it.
Yeah, I would go with Shaft if I had to pick, but I like Superfly too.
Cool.
As far as
side
two is a little bit different, more modern for the most part. I'm going to kick it off with Prince, When Doves Cry. It's my favorite song from Purple Rain. I like the title track. I like Let's Go Crazy. They all work in that film, but I like When Doves Cry. I just like that it sets the way the lyrics are awesome in it. Dig, if you will, the picture. He's presenting this kind of, scene and stuff of what he's going through, and with the purple and all this kind of stuff. But Prince was a cool character, and I wanted to get him on the list. Doves Cry. My second track is going to shake up some people, especially Brian, because he knows I'm not a rap guy. I went with Eminem's "Lose Yourself" from 8 Mile. I love the song. I think it's a fantastically written song. If you look at the lyrics, and he's describing exactly what goes on in that movie. It's a perfect song, but eating spaghetti and all this kind of stuff. He's rhyming up
spaghetti in a song. You've made it.
Yeah. And it's not a bad movie. I mean, Eminem takes his share of crap from the mass audience, but he's decent. He's decent in the movie, and I thought it was pretty well done. And a good song. It won again an Oscar winner for best song that year. Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My third track is Peter Gabriel's "In Your Eyes" from Say Anything. Again, the boombox with John Cusack trying to win over Ione Sky's love and that type of thing. Great movie, as far as teen movies go. Cusack, underrated actor, but I like Peter Gabriel. I almost went with the one song I went with here. I had the debate was "Don't You Forget About Me" was from Breakfast Club, and this is the one I went with. But they're both equally good. My fourth track is from a Bond movie, "The Spy Who Loved Me." Nobody Does It Better. Carly Simon. I just like that version of the song. I wanted to get one Bond movie in because Bond's like so iconic in the history of cinema. One character, it's like 25 movies in the series. I could have went Goldfinger. I could have went Live and Let Die, but I went with Nobody Does It Better. Carly Simon tune. My fifth track is one that was written 25 years prior to the film, and that's Tiny Dancer, Elton John from Almost Famous. That great bus scene where they're sort of galvanizing as a unit, as a band. They're all one person starts singing. They all of a sudden you got this "Hold Me Closer" Tiny Dancer, sort of bringing unity to the traveling party there with the groupies and the band members and the road manager and the whole gang. It's well shot. Cameron Crowe movie. Anybody that has not seen Almost Famous, you owe it to yourself to go check it out.
Yeah.
One of the perfect movies of the 2000s, in my opinion. And finally, I'm going to close my side here out with Bob Dylan from Wonder Boys. "Things Have Changed." A favorite song of mine, another Oscar winner. And Wonder Boys, if you're not familiar with it, is Michael Douglas as a college professor.
That's right.
Tobey Maguire is one of his aspiring writers in his English class. And they get into all kinds of hijinks with shooting a dog and stealing Marilyn Monroe fur and all kinds of stuff that you would never believe. And there's a Bob Dylan track in here as well. "Things Have Changed."
Yeah, it's a good song.
I used to care, but things have changed, and it fits the theme of that movie as well. He's sort of a burned out kind of professor who's at the end of the rope. He's cheating on he's involved with the dean's wife, played by Frances McDormand, and there's all kinds of stories that come together. Very enjoyable flick. So that's going to make my list and round out my album.
Well, I'm proud of you, Rich. Throw some Eminem in there.
Really? Yeah, really.
I like the song.
Yeah, and "When Doves Cry" I know was a favorite of yours too.
It was.
That's right.
When we did our '80s list, I mean that song is a really powerful song, considering it has no bass line.
Yeah,
it's really cool. I mean, that put together really well.
It's put together, orchestrated well. Yeah. And, I would vouch for any of these songs, all 12 of them. So that's why they're on the list.
Those are all good choices. They're all, like I said before, I had a list of 300 soundtracks songs on my Spotify. They're all on that list. I just didn't make 12, but
yeah, your list is really solid, Rich.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
All right, Doc.
That's good, man.
Something that Rich, you touched on there during your synopsis of one of your songs. Bond is where it's at, man. "Live and Let Die" is going to start my album. So,
there you go. Yep.
You're right. Bond is iconic for songs and soundtracks and different things like that. But outside the soundtrack itself, outside all that, there's some really good songs that fit a lot of movies, and they're not going to make the list and stuff like that, obviously. But
right,
"Live and Let Die" is a classic rock song, man. Outside of this is the introduction in the Bond side to Roger Moore taking over too, because this is the first movie he did. Yeah. Not a bad Bond flick, not my favorite, obviously, but
a great song.
But a great song. So I'm going to start off with that one. You talked about it at the beginning too, Brian, where you said there's songs that are just so hand in hand with the movie, man. So "Stuck in the Middle with You," man, by Steelers Wheels is going to make my list, man.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
It's from Reservoir Dogs. Michael Madsen cutting off a cop's ear taped to a freaking chair. It's
Awesome.
I don't know what else you can say, man. It's you hear the song and you're watching that scene in your head. That's all I can tell you every freaking time. So yeah, he's doing the move
Like
back
Brian,
and forth.
dancing, spinning around, all that kind of stuff.
He's got the knife out. Just goes to town, right? So it's a kind of an iconic scene with music in it in movies, really. So I'm putting that on my album for sure. Yeah, I'm going with Shaft as well, Rich.
Oh, cool, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You couldn't have said it any better, man. It's groovy. It's he's the cop. It's Isaac Hayes. It's a cool, groovy, almost a tongue-in-cheek kind of song, right? You know, it's Shaft. Yeah, we're gonna call it that done. Shaft. You know, it's just hey, listen. You hear that song and you're thinking of that movie. That's all I can tell you. And that's you want a great song from a soundtrack. I think Shaft is it'll be on a lot of people's list. I think too. So.
Nice.
But if I start going into this and I say, "Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity," sit there and say, "What the hell are you doing with lose yourself on your list here, Sean?" But yeah, I got it too.
Oh my God! I can't
Nice.
believe.
Nice. Converted him to the dark side.
Yeah, this is a cool tune. You're
It
right.
is
Rich.
great.
I mean, I'm not an Eminem guy or anything like this. Is not my neighborhood, man. This tune is really, really good, man. And it's not put together like other things I hear from this genre. So it's got a really cool beat to it. He sounds good. The rapping part in it is really well done. What can I tell you? It really is. And yeah, Lose Yourself's a great tune, man. It's a great song.
Undeniably great.
Yeah. And it's from the movie, like I said, 8 Mile. And it's not a bad movie. Not a bad movie,
It's
man.
not.
You're right.
It's
Yeah,
watchable.
Ken Basinger does a great job.
Yep.
Yeah. I got Purple Rain after that, buddy.
There you go.
So,
Wow.
Nice.
I took the title track from Prince. I love this song. This is my favorite Prince tune.
Yep.
It looks like it's funny that you've got yours and I got mine here on the same album, but this album's really solid anyway, right? So, Purple Rain, the album, fantastic. The movie's not bad either.
Right.
But Purple Rain is, I'd say, one of the better songs. It's my favorite Prince tune, man. It's a really high up list for me on like songs. You know, probably going to top maybe 100 songs. I love this song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to end my side with maybe my dark horse or one you guys don't see coming. I don't know, but it's In the City by Joe Walsh from the Warriors.
Great.
Ah,
I missed that one. That's a classic, man.
Wow.
Love
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice call.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's an iconic movie. It's a great classic cult 80s flick, man. And
yeah.
I got this Walsh singing In the City, before they does it with the Eagles goes on. I think it comes up on the greatest hits later on, I think. But
it was on the long run, but the movie came out first.
The movie came out first. So yeah, they released it with the Eagles after he was, that's right. That's right. In the City, classic rock song, man. Great guitar, great. I love that too, man. So that's why I could end my side A for my soundtrack song.
That's an awesome side. I love that you put In the City in there. Somehow that escaped me. I probably would have bounced something else and put that in had I thought about it. It's a great one. And I love that movie, The Warriors, too, with all the different baseball guys.
All the different gangs. They're just
all the different gangs. It's really
roller skaters.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh,
hey, I'm a big
fun,
fan
man.
here. We've got 2 for 2 so far on Eminem.
Eminem and Shaft. I love that.
Eminem and Shaft. We hit on 2 already, Rich.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kicking it.
So if I start my side B, I guess.
Yeah.
The one that you knocked out, Rich, is the one I got starting off. So I got Don't You Forget About Me by Simple.
I knew somebody would have that. Good.
Yeah. From the Breakfast Club. The background on it, nobody really couldn't sell this song until actually, I think, who's the lead singer there? His wife. Is it Chrissy Hynde? Who's he married to?
Chrissy Hynde.
Chrissy Hines. They were offered it to her first, and she said no, and she gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they got the song and whatever, and that's how it ended up in the movie. And it's a John Hughes film.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club is a classic from my generation, and I probably speak for all 3 of us. It's it's a real coming of age kind of flick for that time as well. So,
Yeah.
but this song, listen, you hear "Don't You Forget About Me," you know it's the Breakfast Club. That's what I would say. So, I got "Iris" by Goo Goo Dolls coming in behind it.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
This is written for the City of Angels. It's an okay movie. It's like a fantasy romance movie kind of thing, but it's Meg Ryan and Nicolas Cage. Not too often I'd say Nicolas Cage is making my list for anything. So, but he's indirectly making it through the song "Iris" from Goo Goo Dolls, because this song in the movie, it's really well done. The song and where they put it in and how it's done, and like it's a really touching song, man. But it's really well done too. So, not a Goo Goo Dolls guy in a lot of senses, but this song's really, really a good tune, man. That's what I would take out of it. Mrs. Robinson is coming in right behind it.
Wow.
That was the first song I wrote down when we started doing our list.
Was it?
It's so synopsis with the movie The Graduate. It doesn't matter. It may make your list, Brian may not, but there's hundreds. You had 300 on your list there of what could be out there on soundtrack songs. So
Right.
there's loads.
Yeah.
But this is just the first one that popped into my head right away. You hear Mrs. Robinson and the harmonies. It's Simon and Garfunkel. It's the soundtrack of the movie for sure. And you could have had a couple coming out of here from Simon and Garfunkel if you want it.
Yep.
Mrs. Robinson just seems like the perfect match to me in this movie for The Graduate with Hoffman and Bancroft, like you said. Right behind it, Streets of Philadelphia, buddy, with Bruce.
Wow, you guys copying off each other's
We
papers?
must have been consulting in the same room there. It looks like.
Listen, not to say the wrong thing, but you gotta stay still sometimes, man. The camera can't go with you when you're writing down your list. So that's what I can tell you. So. Streets of Philadelphia, man. Yeah. I'd even say it was almost written at the perfect time by Bruce, because it seems like he's toned it down a little, even his career musically. And it was at that stage that he wrote this, and it's a soft song, and it's a really touching and emotional song for an emotional movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost the perfect match as well, if you want the truth. And The Streets of Philadelphia is just a beautiful song, if you want the truth. It really is.
That was the first one I wrote down, by the way.
Is it? Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
From the movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, man. I got Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Yeah, that's a killer song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should have been on that.
This one, it's great. I love the song. This is a Dylan tune, and Dylan's even makes an appearance in the movie, right? So,
yeah, he does.
The movie's, it's a standard classic, early 70s Western. Chris Christopherson and James Goldberg, but the placement of this song inside the movie as well really just brings it up a couple of notches for me too, because it's knocking on heaven's door when you're knocking on heaven's door in the movie. Timing's everything on there. I'm gonna tell you, it's a classic Dylan tune too, man. So be a top 10 for me on a Dylan list if we ever got there.
Probably so. Yeah.
I started with Bond. I have to end with Bond. That's the way I did my list. And nobody does it better than Carly Simon, buddy. So,
I cannot believe it. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a fantastic song.
Yeah,
and her version is it's incredible.
Yeah,
peaks and just the build up of the song and stuff. It's an awesome song, man. And listen, I talked about it earlier. You could have had, the Adele version of the song Skyfall. Listen, I'm not a big Adele or anything like that, and the song's okay, but it's a James Bond song when you hear it. Like, that's what I can tell you. It sounds like a Bond song.
Right.
Nobody does it better. I had that, and all-time high. I was debating back and forth, man. I just kept going back to Nobody Does It Better. So that's why I'm going to end my album there with Carly Simon.
Wow, we had 5 of the same 12.
Yeah, we sure did, buddy.
And we almost had a couple of crossover. We each had a Prince song, different one.
Yeah.
And we almost had a Brat Pack song. You had one from Breakfast Club. I had Say Anything, but
that's right.
Pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, the 4 iconic songs really to end your side too. You got Mrs. Robinson, Streets of Philadelphia, Knocking on Heaven's Door. Nobody Does It Better. It's like
Nobody Does It Better.
Iconic,
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 that you had that I wish I would have had, In the City and Knocking on Heaven's Door. Those are great songs. And Stuck in the Middle with You. I can't deny that one too, because that does fit Reservoir Dogs. That one scene is all time, man.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, it's great.
Right. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right, so let's end this thing off here. Let's see how close we got here. Starting off my side one on track one, I picked "Let's Go Crazy" from Purple Rain. Iconic movie for at least Doc and I's generation for sure. You could have picked a lot of songs off of this album, and you wouldn't have been wrong. Right. And I happened to pick this one. It was kind of the lead off track. I thought was very powerful. Your closing track, Doc, just as powerful. And "When Doves Cry" was actually the bigger hit, I believe, on the charts. So I'm like, all those are great choices.
All three.
Had to include it. This one, the next one here, the second one here on this side, kind of a personal choice. I really like the movie and I like the soundtrack. More of a it's more contemporary. It's from Crazy Heart, The Weary Kind, Ryan Bingham. What a powerful movie. It just breaks my heart. I've seen it now twice and it broke my heart each time that I watched the movie. But this is such a powerful song by Bingham here. I mean, obviously it's lip synced by both Bridges and Colin Farrell in the movie, the characters that they play in the movie and stuff. But man, check out that song. Every time I hear that song, man, it's automatically see Jeff Bridges singing it. I mean, that's just crazy stuff. The third song on here, kind of going back to traditional stuff here, I've got "I'm All Right" from Caddyshack. Kenny Loggins. It's like it's a song that you just cannot disassociate from the Caddyshack franchise.
Yep.
Every time I see it, I see the little gopher kind of doing his little dance in the hole or whatever, and it's just a classic song, and I had to include it just for fun. I thought it was great. Kind of keeping in the same 80s vein, I've got "Somebody's Baby" by Jackson Browne for Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those songs that when I hear it, I automatically start, seeing images of Spicoli and all those guys. Even Nicolas Cage wasn't even listed. I think he's Nicolas Coppola in the film.
That's right, he was.
He was listed in the credits as Nicolas Coppola. But Phoebe Cates. You think about all of those things, when you hear that song, and just a classic song. Number 5, I've got "I'm a Man of Constant Sorrow." And this one's performed by that, even though the song is released prior. This is by the Soggy Bottom Boys, and it obviously now you cannot hear that song and not associate it with "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou." I mean, there's just no way to get around that. And more than that, you almost will associate it with George Clooney lip syncing the song more than you will those guys actually performing it. I mean, that's the thing about it. That's how iconic the song really was. So. It's like 3 or 4 different versions of the song that's actually on the soundtrack. I prefer the traditional one, with Bill Timmons, I believe is his name, and those guys. So, and closing out my side one, I've got it's called "Titles" on the album. The single's called "Chariots of Fire" from the movie Chariots of Fire by Vangelis. I think it's such an iconic musical score. The whole album is really great. And but you can't hear this song and not see those guys running on the beach. There's just no way that you can get past this song and not see those guys in the film, running for their country and everything. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful song by Vangelis. Got R.I.P. Sad to see him go. That's for sure. Really great guy. So that's my side one, guys. Kind of different than yours guys, but
I like it. I like the
still good.
Put "Chariots of Fire" in there because when we did our 1981, that was way up on my list, and the music had a lot to do with it. That running on the beach scene that you referred to. You can't hear that music without thinking of that scene with them in the white shorts running down that beach, man.
I would put that in the iconic neighborhood of the music matching the movie.
Absolutely.
Just can't get by it. So. Onward to side 2, kind of going back to like the fun thing here. I've got "Holiday Road" from National Lampoon's Vacation by Lindsey Buckingham.
By Lindsay.
I just, had to have this, every time I hear the song, of course, I'm thinking of, Clark Griswold trekking across the country in that old cat, I don't know what they call those things, a wagon master or something crap like. It was just terrible. Roadster. That's what it was. Like
the
some
roadster.
Type of roadster.
The truck, you're going to take the truck across country. This is the vehicle for you.
And him looking over at Christy Brinkley and like giving her the eye and like just flirting with her. it's automatically a song that comes to mind and gives you those images from the movie. So I included it here. Number two is a deep cut for me. This is from the movie the Dutch. It's a Dutch film. It was called Da Capier, but it's in America. It was called Lily Was Here. Had a song on here that was all instrumental by David A. Stewart and Candy Dulfer called Lily Was Here. It's all instrumental. It's basically a call and response between David A. Stewart's guitar and her saxophone playing. And it's an absolute beautiful song. Every time I hear the song, of course, I'm going to think of the movie because it's just, it was all the songs, that were performed are all made exactly for the movie, for specific scenes in the movie. So that's kind of a personal choice here, but it's my kind of personal list. Third song on this side, I've got Lose Yourself, Eminem. So that's our trifecta. We made it with a rap song, which of all things I would have never thought.
No way.
But you never know, right? That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, it's really iconic. Great. It's a great movie. Eminem is actually pretty underrated, as his acting in it. I thought was actually pretty good. What's his name? Bokeem. I can't even think of his last name now.
Woodbine.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was in it. I thought he was good. I thought his Kim Basinger's mother was really good as well. There's good stuff in it. I really enjoyed the whole soundtrack, and Lose Yourself deserved to be here. Iconic. Number 4, I've got matching up with Doc here from Breakfast Club. Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds.
Right on.
Again, we're talking about a song that just matches up with the movie so well that you can't hear it and not picture Judd Nelson doing his little fist bump out on the football field or whatever. It's just one of those. It's just one of those things. John Hughes film, all-star cast, like you guys have said, coming of age movie that has. It was made for our generation, but has appealed to every generation of teenagers since then. Every teenage group can relate to that movie and the way that it was done. It's just perfect in every way. Number 5, I've got a Bond movie, but I've got For Your Eyes Only by Sheena Easton. Again, it's you guys listed all some incredible ones. I mean, I like all those too, but I'm a big fan of Sheena Easton for probably different reasons.
Who's not?
Beautiful song that you cannot disassociate with the Bond film. Obviously, when you hear it, it's great. It's beautiful, and big fan. And closing out this side, you guys must have known this was going to happen. I have obviously exit music for a film by Radiohead that was actually first made for the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack by Baz Luhrmann in 1997. But it was in the movie, but wasn't released on the actual soundtrack. It was actually put on OK Computer when Radiohead released that later in the year. So that was kind of a stipulation there. Perfect timing of the song. Right, everything starts to kick off the moment that Claire Danes puts the gun to her head and pulls the trigger. The song starts in motion, and everything, all the scenery and all the cinematography just matches up with the song so perfectly that every time I hear the song, I just picture Claire Danes and Leo DiCaprio's dead bodies just lying in that church. I just can't get that image out of my head.
Yeah,
that's my second side.
I'm stunned that we got the Eminem song, all three of us.
So am I.
I'm really stunned. But it's a good stun,
Yeah.
Yeah, we all had Bond at a different one. Kind of,
Well,
I had 2 Bond.
We all had a Bond
we all had
song.
Bonds.
Yeah. We all had a Prince song.
That's right.
Yep.
We all had a Prince song. We all had, songs from teen angst movies of the 80s.
Yes.
I mean, we just
Totally.
we kind of all touched on those things. I think the 80s was where it became like a big selling point that, hey, we can promote our artists on these movie soundtracks. That's what it kind of became for the record.
More that way.
Up and coming artists on your record label, we can promote them by putting them on the movie soundtracks. And you saw that more and more and more.
Yeah.
It became like a thing. So.
Definitely.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. I only have 2 that haven't been mentioned. We talked about Stuck in the Middle. I had Don't You Forget About Me. But the other 2 are Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The theme song. That whole Western by, who was the guy?
Ennio Morricone.
Morricone.
That's iconic. Could have easily made my list. And the other one is the classic dance scene from Pulp Fiction. You know, Jack Rabbit Slims, Chuck Berry song.
C'est la vie by Chuck Berry.
C'est la vie. Also, You Never Can Tell. It has two different titles, and I love that scene. I love the song. Travolta and Uma just tearing it up on the dance floor. It was in my original 20 and had to whittle it out of there somehow, but very cool. You guys have any honorables?
You know, outside, I don't have anything from Greece or anything like that. They were all big and stuff like that, but I actually thought about gonna fly now from Rocky.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
Must Live Forever from Highlander by Queen.
Right.
I mentioned earlier, All Time High by Rita Coolidge there for Octopussy, another Bond, but I didn't want too much Bond action.
Right.
And the other one that I really, my last cut, to be honest with you, was the song Easy Money by Billy Joel for the movie Easy Money.
Interesting.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. I think it's a really cool, hornsy, bluesy R&B rock song from Billy Joel, man. It's a good tune.
Well, I had, I think maybe Jason might be happy. Shout out to Jason Berger here. I had Rob Thomas' Little Wonders from the Meet the Robinsons soundtrack. It's an animated film. I think it's a song that I associate with the movie Holy. I picked Survivor's Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger.
Rocky 3. I think that really is close to that movie. I picked the Bengals' Hazy Shade of Winter from Less Than Zero.
I love Less Than Zero. It's a good one.
Just powerful movie. Great cover of Simon and Garfunkel there. And I had The Great Beyond by REM from Man on the Moon, the Milos Forman film about and so I wanted to include that as well as an honorable mention. So,
well, at least we didn't have Under the Sea and Frozen and
that's right.
Let It Go, all that stuff.
Right, none of that.
But anyway,
there'll be some good ones, I think.
Great songs, really fun to do, fun to look back at these flicks.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. I mean, I'm glad that we got back together, guys. And 2 weeks was nice to have off, but also I started to miss you guys. I mean,
look at that, eh?
We got to have something. I was like, Wednesday nights were coming and going. And I'm like, I haven't got nothing to do.
It was like a bad breakup, man. Except we broke up with two people instead of one.
But we thank everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoy. We're going to post this up online. Be sure to check out our other videos that I have up there for best albums that we have for building the perfect album series, if you can. Also check out Rich's channel. I'm going to put a link to his stuff down below. He has all sorts of movies, and we have CD exchange stuff, and we have live stream stuff that he actually puts videos up for. So please be sure to check his stuff out. And Doc, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, buddy. And we'll catch you guys next time. Look for some future endeavors that we have, including best female artists, and we're going to have top debut albums coming up as well. So stay tuned for those things. Take care.
See ya.